Welcome to the Hard Way Pod, Lexie.
Woo!
I've got Lexie Grace, you guys, hilarious stand-up comedian. We're in the quarantine pod here. What's going on? How you doing in quarantine?
I am doing good. Busier than usual, actually.
Really? How so?
Surprisingly. I honestly, I do not know how. But it's like I took on a lot of like side projects, and then I also ironically I've had a lot of clients that like just need things done during these times, so it's just been busy.
What kind of stuff are you doing that you do for work that you have clients for?
I do mostly like I help people with their passion projects.
Oh, okay.
So like basically I help them learn like skills, or I act like a liaison to like whatever technology they're trying to learn, be it like Photoshop or Final Cut.
So like some sort of creative learning producer.
Exactly. And
Nice.
I mean, that's what this time is for, is pretty much just like a time to
learn a bunch more shit. Oh my God, you lucked out. You're like, actually, this is perfect for my job.
Yeah, so it's like basically like my clients now have like the time that they want to have to make this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I've been less busy because I have less shit to do. Like I was just saying, like I don't have to edit video, so that helps. And yeah, I'm not going out anywhere, but as far as like work goes, like I still can do whatever. It's just me trying to force myself to relax. It's making me less busy because I've got like carpal tunnel in both hands. So I'm like, you know what, maybe just this would be the time that I'd be learning a bunch of stuff and making a bunch of projects, but I'm trying to make it the project relaxing.
No, yeah, next week is the time that I really want to take like a break, because like I've been like I did lose some work because I also work with like a majority of my job is like working with elderly clients.
Oh.
So obviously for those I can't zoom in because I would teach them how to do that, but I'm not there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you'd have to like teach them over the phone how to do a computer to get the video part going.
Exactly.
That would be a lot of work. Like my mom isn't even elderly and she cannot get a handle on Dropbox, and it's been like 2 years in the making, and I'm like, lady, it's basically a folder on your computer. We sat there with the IT guy the other day. What do you mean you can't figure out how to save it in the folder? Like, it's incredible. But yeah, well, glad to hear you're keeping busy and doing good.
Yeah. And also trying to just like write, all the things that I want to write and do like, I've been trying to make a lot of sketches. I made one sketch that hopefully I'll drop later this week, but it was very, what's the word? When you get in over your head.
Oh, a little, what is
ambitious.
Ambitious, yes.
It very was ambitious.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Was the editing really tough or what?
It's basically like, I don't even know why I should say it's a sketch. It's basically like a 22-minute kind of video.
It's a pilot to a series. Yeah. Lexie, that is the length of a sitcom. Like, that is not a sketch.
That last week I was like, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Let's make this.
Oh man, story of my life though, doing shit like that. Like I'm like, oh, I'll just learn animation for this little clip, and I'm like, this was a lot of work.
By the way, that animation looked great for it being your first time.
Yay, thank you.
But,
I want to do so many more now, but I'm like, okay, you can't sit on the computer for 12 hours and destroy your wrists even more. But like the moment I'm starting to feel way better, I'm gonna make more of those, especially because now I have so many just audio podcast episodes. I could probably do some little clips with them.
Yeah, and with your public library card, you can actually download like lynda.com for free and like learn on that website.
Oh, Lynda?
For like animation. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, no, I feel like I definitely have learned the hard way to pace yourself when it comes to the quarantine.
Yes, I've definitely learned that the hard way as well.
Because it is a thing of a show, and like just trying to correspond with all the people and trying to get music done, and I don't know why I was like, yeah, this could be done in a week.
Yeah. Oh man. And did you like set it up in a way where you have to have it done in a week?
I pushed back the deadline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I just wondered if you were like to your fans on social media or something, like, it's coming out this exact date, guys, and it's gonna be epic. And then now you had to be like, son of a bitch, I shouldn't have. Yeah.
Luckily, I only messaged like the people in it, being like, "Hey, it's gonna come out this date," and then I just emailed them like, "Just kidding, guys.
Yeah.
Me editing it is actually taking much longer because there are like animation components and a lot of merging components and stuff like that."
Oh, well, I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was and this wasn't even too ambitious, but I was like, oh, I'll do a bonus episode, even though I'm like in real time doing these episodes. I should have let myself get ahead, but I was like, I'll do a bonus, and I released it. And then like as I'm changing the schedule this weekend, I'm like, you idiot, you should have just saved that episode, given yourself an extra week to relax. But I also kind of wanted things to be more in real time rather than be talking about things that are outdated, because so much stuff is changing, at least for the beginning parts of the podcast.
And it does happen where it's like I have had those moments where I do get ahead of myself and I'm like, oh, I should have held on to it, but sometimes you just get so excited.
I know. I just got too excited. I had to get it out. Yeah. I'm gonna, once we're done here, I'm gonna take out my little crafts, and I'm gonna start making some crafts, like one of which will be an at-home mask, because now we should be wearing those. And I have a link that I can send you that shows you how to easily hand sew one from materials in your home, because we're not supposed to be using like the really medical grade ones. Are you whipping out your mask right now? Yes, show it. Oh, did you make that?
I did not. My mom actually has we had the mask before because my mom has an obsession with Korean culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so and the shows, they wear a lot of masks.
Uh-huh.
And so my mom was like, I want to be cool like them. So she had bought like a bunch for like the family. And so I was like, when am I going to use this? And then it's like, oh, perfect time to use it.
Oh my God. It's like the second thing we were like, this kind of just fell into my lap.
Exactly. By the way,
Lexie, go buy some lottery tickets. By the way, yes.
I noticed that you have the same type of cookies I have.
Cookies?
Yeah, behind you. The viewers at home can't see, but you've got like the Tate's
the
cookies.
Tate's, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. I went to like the grocery store yesterday to Sprouts to get, because we'd been trying to go to Sprouts for like 2 weeks, but the line was around the building. So we kept going to this like mini Target that we have near us that has groceries in it and just getting whatever little stuff. But finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet and I'm going to wait in the line around the damn building. Went in there, and like, as I was getting real stuff, I saw somebody like, when people pick it up and they're like, no, I don't need this. And they like left it in the bread section. And I was like, oh, I love these. I'm taking it. And now they're all eaten within one day. So
I did the same thing. I learned that the hard way, that I can't be left alone with. I literally ate a thing of Oreos, like a full container of Oreos in 3 days.
Oh my God.
And I learned the hard way that I cannot buy them.
No, you can't. I can't buy Doritos for that exact reason. I will eat them in one day though. And what will help though with cookies and treats is that you can, if I put them in the cabinet, I forget they exist. So that's, you just can't leave them on the table, easy access, and then it's fine. Oh man. So down to business about learning about stuff the hard way. Not that we haven't been talking about that this whole time, just in day-to-day life, but so I'm gonna let you go and tell your story about what you're gonna tell me, and then I'll see if that brings anything up for me memory wise.
Yeah. So I guess I had to learn the hard way that just because you think you're friends with someone, you might not actually be friends with that person, or you might not be if you're treated like a secret friend, you probably are a secret friend.
A secret friend sounds so weird to me. It's like maybe secret girlfriend or boyfriend, but like what in the hell goes on? Like, how do you become a secret friend? Like what happened there?
So it basically, to go into what happened, was I had met this, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, if like you're a friend, but you're only a friend on like certain occasions, like they're not really your friend.
Yeah.
like it's like, because okay, so this is the saga.
All right.
The secret friend.
Saga.
So I had met this girl when I was like 14, 15. Mm-hmm. We had we met in acting class.
Okay.
And
already don't trust her. Already. Just kidding.
And we became really quick friends. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this person's really cool. This person's really cool. Then like 2 months later, she met her boyfriend, right? Didn't meet the dude. Right? So, but I was just like, whatever. It's a new relationship.
Yeah,
I've
maybe
seen
she
pictures.
Doesn't want him to meet. Yeah.
Yeah. So, jump cut, 7 years later.
Oh my gosh.
Still have yet to meet the boyfriend.
Stop it. So wait, yes. how often do you talk to this person?
Well, okay, so I was in college for a little bit, but then we would talk like via like Skype for like 2 to 4 hours. And then whenever I was like back in LA, we would hang out.
Oh, wow.
And like I would probably see them, maybe, it depends, because like sometimes it would be like maybe like 4 times a month. Another time it'd be like maybe like once a month. Sometimes it would be like 3 times a week. It just it would
stagger. But even like talking to somebody for that many hours like on Skype is like, that's a pretty close friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then basically what ended up happening was then when I came back to LA, I moved back to LA, and so then we started hanging out like once a month. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, oh, and she would talk about her boyfriend, again, the same boyfriend that she had been with all of this time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I never met him. Like, again, it felt a little like is he a ghost? I don't know.
Does he really exist? Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew he exists because I'd seen all these photos. But then I was like starting to think, like, do I exist?
Yeah.
And then I had also seen pictures of her other friends, and I never met her other friends. So like she would have like birthday parties. And I would never meet, like, it would be like, oh, like, how about we celebrate like our own day?
What the fuck?
Yeah. And so, and we mostly kept confined to like within her house or my house.
What the hell is going on here, Lexie?
I know, right?
She's like showing you pictures of her birthday party. She's like, this is the other party. Ours was like, because when you have like a special, question. For the birthday, when you guys did your separate thing, was that on the actual birthday? And then other things? Oh, okay. So the actual, because like, sometimes your birthday's on a Tuesday, but then you have like an outing on the weekend. So which one did you get to go to? You went
okay, so technically what made me feel better were both birthdays were on our actual birthday.
Okay, so both events.
Yeah. So then on her actual birthday, she like spent it, I think, with like her parents or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay. But it got to a point where they were always doing activities, and I was like, why am I never meeting these people? Like, why are
you never invited? Yeah.
Yeah, because I would always see it. Like, she would pull it up, though, like a Facebook kind of thing.
Yeah. But the fact that she's showing you makes it seem like she doesn't understand that that's weird. Like, and I get there's like some levels sometimes of people like not wanting to mix friend groups. But mixing friend groups is a different story than being like, hey, especially since you just like moved back there, like you could have maybe been friends with some of those people, Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, I understand like mixing friend groups, but this was like on a whole nother level. Like one time I brought over DVDs. Mm-hmm. And I brought it over so we could like watch it because like obviously we weren't leaving.
Yeah, you're like, we're not going anywhere because you don't take me in public.
pretty much we acted like there's that movie with John Travolta where he lives in a bubble and like people just come and talk to him, but he can't like leave outside. Like that was like the dynamic of our friendship where I would like bring things from the outside and be like, hey, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
And so I brought a bunch of DVDs and I was like, hey, which one do you want to watch tonight? And she chose one, and then she was like, hey, can I keep the DVDs and watch the other DVDs with my friends?
Oh,
Exactly. And I was like, no, I'm going to bring all the DVDs back.
what a fucking bitch. What is this? I'm so confused.
And so then I was like, again, like my spidey senses were like starting to go off, but I hadn't put two and two together because I was like, we've been talking all this time. Yeah. And like, you know, we do have like some mutuals, but it's the mutuals that we knew when we first met.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
So it's not like anybody out of the thing. Okay. So then where it gets crazy. And then I think I'm like back home for summer. Right.
Uh-huh.
But this is like the beginning of the end. So we finally, I can't remember, we were at my house, but there wasn't any food. So we had to go out for food. Right.
Uh-huh.
So, so we go out for food, and she runs into someone she knows. And they're like talking, and she does that thing where it's like when someone like leaps from the table and goes like, oh, hey, like away from like where we were sitting, right? And they're talking for like maybe about 20 minutes.
Stop it. That is so rude.
Yeah, so then the guy goes, well, who's this person that you seem to know? Because they seem to be like waiting for you over there. And then she goes, oh, this is my friend Lexie. And she goes, she's an amazing, because at this time I was going to film school for directing. Right. So she's like, she's going to be an amazing director, blah, blah, blah. And she like starts giving me all these accolades.
Okay.
And so that was like the first time where I felt like, oh, wait, maybe we're not actually friends. Maybe she's just seeing this as like an investment.
Oh.
Like she wants to cash in if I become like a famous director of some sort.
Right. But that's even stupider. It's like, why wouldn't you just be like, because to me that doesn't make any sense given how often you talked like for long periods of time on Skype and stuff. Like that's a lot of work to just, you know, because it would be easier to just invite you to stuff and not spend a specific time just with you.
Yeah. No, exactly. It would probably be better that way, but I also think that it's also too like, I don't know. What maybe we'll deconstruct this together right now.
So that happens.
So then I'm like, oh, that's bad. Also, I have to another fun fact about me that you need to know is I was a late in life like learning to drive.
Oh, okay.
So like I didn't have so when I moved back from college, I didn't have like a license. So when we wanted to go to an event together, and I said, oh, you know, I can't go because I don't have a ride because for some weird reason, I don't think I was like trusting of like Lyft or Uber yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, because it was like it had just, you know, so I was like it only has been like the last 2 years that I've really used Lyft or Uber. Okay. Like before then, you know. So I was like, can you pick me up and give me a lift to like this event she really wanted to go to, right? But not by herself. So I was like, if you pick me up, then we can just go. And she goes, that's so inconvenient. Like, when are you going to learn how to drive? Meanwhile, I had always been getting rides to her house, right? So I had always driven to like her house.
Well, why wouldn't she come to your damn house then?
Exactly.
I don't like this person at all.
so then I was like, oh man, this is like, I don't know, there's something off. So then the straw that broke the camel's back was we had stopped talking kind of after that because I was a little butthurt. Yeah,
because you were like, oh, so you're using me because you think I'm going to be famous and I could just bring you along with me.
Exactly. Yeah. So at that point, she had thought that like I had stopped filmmaking, like I had given up like that thing, right? Mm-hmm. And for some weird reason, she thought that I was going to focus on acting, right? Mm-hmm. What she didn't know was I had gotten a job that I was going to surprise her with. This is back when I worked like corporately, and I had gotten a job in production that dealt with that, like kind of was like I had some sort of hiring power, mm-hmm. but not like a lot of hiring power. Right. So I asked her, I said, hey, I said, hey, who are you repped by? And she ends up sending me this long email, like, because I wanted to do something good for her.
Right.
And she sends me this long email, like, don't use my name, don't, like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, just kind of just like insinuating, like, you know, like that we weren't like that close. And that she like couldn't vouch for me. Not that I was even asking her. I was actually trying to do her a solid.
Oh, so she thought you were trying to get her representation and she didn't want you to be like, I know, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Whoa. That's so rude and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then what did you do with that?
So then I just was like, all right, that's it.
Did you tell her like, hey dude, I was actually going to try and get you a job, but now I'm not gonna.
Well,
because you think that like in the event that you were gonna kind of maybe have to do me a favor, you turned into this psychopath that didn't even want to be associated with me.
It basically was that. It was like, get the heck away from me.
Oh my god.
So then I was like, I sent her a thing that I was like, don't worry, your name won't come out of my mouth.
Oh my god.
And that's kind of like, I kind of was like, I'm not petty, so I wasn't like, I was trying to help you out. I just was like, don't worry about it. I won't do anything. And then I think she saw later, and then there was like trying to get back in. But at that point, I was.
Oh, because she probably saw like your job title change or something on Facebook and was like, oh, I don't have anything to offer her, but she still has stuff to offer me. What a biatch. I don't like that. See, at first I thought like maybe she's on drugs and like you don't do drugs or drink really, so she doesn't want to bring you around her druggy friends doing blow all night. Like that was the only thing I could think of. but then you go into like don't use my name with your representation. It's like okay, please calm down.
Well, it
don't
just
get
like
ahead of yourself.
It just like escalated, and it was like, wow, like did all these conversations, like you said, like we had this deeper connection. Like
right.
I thought that was like something, and then it turns out that it was kind of like, I felt like it was like when she thought that she could use me, it just was kind of like, you know, it just, I felt used. And then at that point, I mean, maybe it is my bad. Like maybe I should have confronted her about it, but like part of me was like, it's not even worth it.
No, well, I mean, that's the whole thing is like, what's the point then? You know, you already feel like probably pretty shitty if somebody's acting like that. You know, there's nothing wrong. Like I know you seem pretty awesome from what I know. Like you're cool.
You're awesome too.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't see any reason for somebody to treat you like that. Like it would be one thing if you were like, oh, every time you went out, like you caused a scene. You know,
yeah,
you were like drinking and dancing on the bar, and then throwing up everywhere. Which is like the opposite is true. You know, you're very like you get your shit done. You don't drink. I've never seen you drink anything.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm pretty straight edge, but I don't mind if other people drink. But like, I feel like if I go out with my friends that drink, I just turn into the bomb. Like, I just make sure that like everyone has their key. Like everyone's like, you know, gets home safe. No one's talking to any weirdos.
Yeah, but like, yeah, it just doesn't like. So I could see what's the gain of you, you know, calling her out then for her to be like making you feel crazy. Like we're not even close. Like what could she say? Other than like being a bitch even further than she already kind of was, you know? I don't know.
I feel like part of me feels like I think she didn't. I think, you know, like you were saying, like don't mix the friends. Like part of me, like now that we're talking, I'm starting to think that maybe she didn't want me to meet her other friends because she was worried that I might like them more than her.
Oh.
And like lose like, you know, favor or something, like, you know.
Right. Or even like she's like you know, she won't even like go out of her way to like drive to pick you up because she's like that's kind of a pain in the ass. But it's like if you're somebody's friend and you know that they can't drive or don't have a car, like you should just do that if you want to hang out with them or just go over there, you know, that sort of thing. But it, you know, if she's like that, like lazy as being a good friend, like maybe she's like, oh, well, if I bring her here, she won't know anybody. And then I'll have to spend the whole night taking care of her and talking to her because she doesn't really know them. You know what I mean? Like making a lot of assumptions. And with, we don't have to get into her head too much because she just sounds like kind of a jerk.
But I also think that that's what I learned the hard way is like how someone treats you.
Yeah.
Initially is how they're going to keep treating you.
Oh, for sure.
And if it's like it should have been a red herring that like I hadn't met her boyfriend in like the 3 years before I went to school.
Yeah.
Like you get upset, or like the 2 whatever, however, I don't know. But like that should have been a red herring that like why would I expect when I came back I would meet her boyfriend?
Right, exactly. The way that they like, it's that saying that people say where it's like when people show you who they are, believe them,
Yeah, I mean, you even introduced me to your boyfriend on FaceTime. Yeah, like when he was in the room, you're like, oh, this is my boyfriend.
Yeah,
like you were like, yeah.
Well, because I told him about you. Told him like, oh, my friend Lexie. When we went and had sushi that day. Too long ago, ages ago.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and I told him about you. And I was like, yeah, you'll meet her someday. Like, of course, I'd introduce you to him. Like, what
no, fuck? But I mean, like, that's that to me.
And even then, like, I didn't have to because, like, he was just in the background,
Yeah, you didn't have to. The fact that you went above and beyond, like, warms my heart. And that's, like, something that I learned the hard way. That, like, if people are already, like, also, like, I learned, like, I think I learned with her and then I learned again was like if people are acting shady with other people, they're gonna be acting shady with you.
Oh yeah, that's like a big thing, especially in our scene too. Like when I see like the way people talk about other people, do I want them to be around me because what are they gonna say when I'm not around, sort of thing.
100%. And I've learned that the hard way, that I've been like oh, they're my friend, like they're throwing shade but they won't throw shade at me, and then you hear that shade gets directed at you and you're like, oh man.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I've definitely had several like hard way lessons like that. With like, I'm like trying to think of who I should talk about because I know that I have examples. I don't have anybody that necessarily hid me, but because that's like some weirdo shit right there. And that's like says way more about her than you for sure. Like that's just like her, who knows how many hidden friends she has.
The sad thing is that this lesson happened to me twice for me to learn it. Oh I didn't even learn it that time. I learned it the second time it happened.
So someone else came out after that?
Yeah.
Who do you want to tell that one too? Or is that because remember when we were talking the other day about what we were going to talk about and I was like, oh, I want to tell this one, but I don't want them to hear it. I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say it too. Cause like my mom was like, it doesn't matter. They're not, she was like, they're not going to listen. And if they do listen, then you know what you did.
Yeah, exactly. You know what you did. Yeah. They're not important enough for us to hold back. Yeah.
Okay. So this one is a little bit weirder.
Oh my God. It's weirder. That one was so weird. All right. I can't wait. Let's do it.
So this girl, she actually might listen, but she knows what she did was weird. And I've actually told her to her face that what she did was weird.
Yeah. You were weird, dude. Whatever.
You were weird. Your behavior was weird. So basically what happened was I was hanging out with this girl, a new friend. And because we were doing the same, we both worked at the Apple store.
Okay.
And so we would hang out like every like we'd hang out like a lot of times because like she was like my partner in crime at the Apple store.
Okay.
And so we were hanging out like all the time. Like after, the only weird thing was I was not allowed to hang out with her on weekends.
So you'd hang out like at work and then maybe go to like lunch together or something.
Lunch, and then we'd go to dinner.
Oh, okay.
So it was like the whole day, right?
Oh, wow.
And so certain days I'd be like, oh, I can't do today because I got to go meet someone late night. But let's do, I was like, but hey, if you want to go, like I do a lot of weird events on the weekends. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't I go to Lavender Festival where it's like this field of lavender and you hang out and everything's lavender. It's lavender beef brisket, lavender chicken, lavender lemonade, lavender.
I want to go to Lavender Festival.
It's amazing. And the fields are lavender and they smell amazing. And you like lie on hammocks and stuff.
God. Lexie, take me with you when we're allowed out again, please.
I will.
It's and we'll take pictures and we'll put them on the internet, and these bitches will see us hanging out and having fun.
Exactly. No, we gotta go. It's amazing. It's the most amazing thing. So I was trying to tell her, like, hey, let's go to Lavender, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, no, like, I can't. Right. And then also the weird thing, too, is I would go over to her house. And when I would go over to her house, I wasn't allowed in. I could only stay at the garage.
What the fuck? Is the garage like nice? Is it?
No, it's like a regular, just like a regular garage. But like we would just park the car and then we'd like walk around her neighborhood.
What the fuck is that about? You're like, wait for it.
Wait for it, right?
Oh God.
So, we'd always like lament about like how hard it is to like date and like blah, blah, blah. And like, I would tell her about like these dates I was going on.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she'd be like, yeah, it's hard for us two single ladies, here at the Apple store, it's all these weird dudes hitting on us.
Right.
And meanwhile, we have like all these, I don't know if you've ever been to an Apple store, but all the guy coworkers are very attractive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been to an Apple store. It's been a minute, but yeah, they're all pretty good looking people.
Yeah, they look like posters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had got in the discussion like prior, like, would you date anybody at work? And right. I was like, no, I wouldn't, because I've learned that the hard way. And
don't shit where you eat. Episode 3. Yep.
Exactly. I've learned that the hard way. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
And I asked her, and she was like, yeah, I don't think so. And so
that was a look for the listeners. She gave a look as if foreshadowing a lie.
so then again, and I also see her going on all these trips, right, by herself. Like she takes some time off,
right?
And I like, for her birthday and stuff like that. I always feel bad because it seems like she's just going by herself, and I'm like, right. Hey, if you want, I'll take the time off and I'll go on the trip with you. And she's like, no. And she's always taking these really sad selfies. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God. And then one day, one of our guy coworkers comes to us and goes, hey, was it you in that picture I saw? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, what picture is he referring to? Because this was when I worked at the Apple store in New York. And so I don't know why I gave that detail. It's not important. But anyway.
Well, it wasn't here, so it wasn't recent. Yeah.
Yeah. So she pulls me aside and she goes, I have something to tell you.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, what? And she's like, I've been, don't get upset, but I've been dating this dude that we work with. And I'm like, oh, okay. How long have you been dating him? Long time.
Oh.
He lived in the house.
Oh, what? Oh my God. So you knew him. And she's like, would you date anybody at work? And she said no, and he was living with him, and that's why you weren't allowed in the house?
That's how I was.
That's so weird. This isn't like the job you're going to have forever and all of eternity, and you're going to get sued for like intermingling.
But also like, you could date people at work. They just couldn't be like they couldn't be like a superior. Like you couldn't date like a manager.
Yeah. And or like be making out at work. So like, what the hell? That's like a weird. So she was also hiding him from you more than he was hiding you from him. But that's really strange. Don't these people know how to lie about dating? Like, how about he goes out while you're coming over? I don't know.
I think it was just like there was so much she had to like scrub from her place.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Like, 'cause there would have been like pictures of them everywhere.
Yeah.
Why lie about that? That's so weird.
And then no one believed me when I said I didn't know about them.
Oh my God.
They were like, you've been at our house. And I was like, yeah, but we hang out in the garage.
What did they say about that? They're like,
and people were, yeah, exactly. People were like, you're lying. No one would just go to someone's house and hang out at the garage.
Lexie,
yeah,
up your friendship standards. These people are trash.
I was like, I am Bobo the fool.
Oh my God, Bobo the fool. We've all been the fool, but that's just so weird and unnecessary. Like, only that, like, again, like, first the other one was on drugs, this one had a crush on you, and it was like kind of testing out maybe bisexuality and didn't want to admit it, and didn't want her boyfriend to get jealous or something.
No, I don't think she had a crush. I think he was like, I think they both wanted to keep it like a secret because she tried to explain it to me after.
Yeah.
I don't think she, just for clarity, I don't think she has a crush.
Yeah. I just invent stuff trying to make these things make sense.
But it was weird to hang out, like, to tell people, like, oh yeah, all we do is, like, no one believed me, like, that we just hung out in someone's garage, because it sounds so crazy.
Yeah,
because I'm crazy. Because I was just like, okay, this is where they want to chill, all right. Because she would always be like, my place is so dirty.
Yeah, you're just trying to give the benefit of the doubt and be like, all right, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Now I felt bad. The other day, someone didn't want to FaceTime with me, and I was like, FaceTime with me right now because I got trust issues.
Yes. Like, you fucking better or it's over for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, because we ain't hanging out anymore, because I don't know. Are you dating my ex? What's happening over there?
Yeah, right. I can imagine. Jeez. Oh my God. That's nuts. Well, are you still friends with that person? No, because they lived in New York.
I'm still we still talk from time to time.
Well, at least, yeah.
But we're not as close as we used to be, because I was just
no shit. Well, because you can't trust a person that's that fucking weird in the beginning. Like, come on, that's crazy.
Hang out in my garage.
Like,
I couldn't even pee.
Oh,
we'd have to go walk someplace else to pee.
Oh my God. No, absolutely not. That never again, Lexie. Never again with that shit. That's crazy town.
No, never again. I think also too, like, when I was younger, I was like really into oh yeah, cool friendships. But now I'm like, I don't have to see everybody every day.
Yeah.
I'll see you once a week. It's all good.
Oh my God, I barely see anybody ever. Like, I'm such like introvert homebody person at the computer that I rarely ever like we've been trying to make, and I'll tell you, we've been trying to make other lunch plans since that one day for probably a year now. And this isn't because I'm trying to hide you. It's because I literally don't. No,
but I've also had to reschedule too. So it hasn't been like
and we don't live close either. Like, if we lived closer, it would be one thing. But
and you haven't exhibited any. You don't exhibit any of the signs that like all that.
Like, I book you on my show. I talk to you. I introduce you to my boyfriend.
Exactly. Like, I've met. It's not like a weird. Thing. But I think that also was like a big thing I learned the hard way, that it's like, no more. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not into, I don't know. I think after that, it kind of like burned me out on like intense friendships.
Yeah. Well, it's
like,
hard.
I was like,
it's hard
we
to
can all just
those.
simmer down.
Yeah. It's hard to maintain those, this time in our lives, like when we're older and we're so busy with all this stuff. Which is why it's surprising that people went out of the way to have like just one-on-ones, because it's like, when I do see people, like, normally you want to fit them all in at once. So I'm not a don't mix your friends person, but I am I'll warn you, here's a bunch of people you don't know. Here's a bunch of people, come together if you want, whatever, you know what I mean?
I see, the thing is, like, I like one-on-one time, but I also really want to, like, I like a mixture.
Yeah.
Like, I do want, it depends on I think it depends on the person, because there's certain people that it's like one of my friends, I feel like we never get, she's really busy. Mm-hmm. And so like no one gets to see her usually. So then when she comes to town, it's like she's like the last like role at Thanksgiving. Like everyone just like is like, hey. So then it's like 5 of us, and we're all trying to get like our different questions in, like trying to find out like, so what happened with this guy? And then someone else is like, so how's your new place? And it's just like very...
Yeah, well, because there's definitely things like that when you want to, like, if you, if I wanted to, like, if we finally get let out of the house, I'm going to because I never really get to see you, I'm not going to invite you to like a group event probably, which I don't really have group events, is because I'm going to be like, I'm going to want to talk to you, but I would still do that. And we could just like branch off. And then I'd be like, all right, I'm seeing these people too. I feel like, yeah. But I get the like wanting to, you know, get one-on-one to really catch up with somebody that you haven't seen in a while. But like, that's like a one-off here or there. That's not every single time for several years.
No, for sure.
when you don't meet the boyfriend. So I have an example of not where I was hidden, but where I was basically like tricked into thinking that like I could be, that somebody really wanted to be my friend, and then immediately ghosted once they got out of me what they wanted.
No.
Yeah. And this is I'm not going to say names. I'm going to try my best because this is a person in the community, not that we're out there right now. And it's been a while. Like it wasn't recent really, but so I met this person at like a mic or something, and she knew who I was, and I didn't really recognize her, and you know, she must have been to my show or something. Anyway, I ended up booking her on my show. And she's really funny. She did great. And then afterwards, she reaches out to me and she's like, she like sends me a message like thanking me for the time. And then she's like, oh my gosh, you know, you're really cool. I think you're so funny and you're so great. Like, how do you like become friends these days? Like with people, can we like be friends? Do you want to go out to like dinner or lunch or something? And I'm like, sure, that's how you do it, you know? So I'm like, this person's essentially asking me on a friend date. It's like trying to like making a joke, like it's awkward. Like, how do you like become friends if it doesn't happen naturally? So I'm like, yeah, let's do it, you know? So we end up, you know, and even at first when I heard that, I was like, oh, you know, people say that all the time and then they fall off, you know, and that happens, life happens, whatever. But she continues to like try to make the plan. So we end up going out for dinner and like drinks one night. Right.
Yeah.
And so we're out and we're talking and like, it's great. Like she's really cool. And she's asking me a lot of questions, you know, about me. And I'm like, a lot of the questions are mainly focused around Travis, my boyfriend, like how serious we are, how, you know, whatever we are, you know, oh, so you think it's gonna be, and it's like, oh yeah,
I'm worried. Yeah. I am shook. I am worried.
So I'm just like, why does she keep kind of bringing it back there? Because I'm just thinking we're talking, and she's giving a lot, you know, and this is the hard way lesson that I learned through this is like, when people are giving you way too much information about themselves that's super personal, it's because they want you to open up and be comfortable giving way too much information, you know? And I didn't really tell like too much of anything, but I'm like,
that's a good lesson. I have yet. That's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I'm initially like always very like, I feel like I'm a very
closed,
public, private. Yeah, you're private person. So like it takes a while for me to open up, but that's an interesting, now I'm going to be more on the lookout for that.
Well, yeah, because like, it's like almost like you get tricked into, you know, because like I had this therapist once and I was like I was just trying to get some like Xanax out of him in college. And I was like, that's all I wanted, you know? So I, you know, when you want that and you haven't been prescribed before or something, you want to like lie and pretend you don't know what's going on, you know, but I had taken them before and it helped me with my anxiety. So I was like, oh, you know, I'll just go in and I'll be like, I think they're called, you know, I don't know, you know, just to try and get him to prescribe them to me. But this guy was so charming and so like open that like I just blew my cover immediately. And he was like, oh, well, you're not getting any because you just said all this. And I was like, son of a beep, you know? So like that was like, but that was a different story. So anyway, like I'm actually a pretty open person. Like I don't really care if you know about, like, cause to me, I'm like, what are you gonna, aside from like my social security number and credit cards, like, what are you gonna do with this information? Oh, well, you know, about me, you know, that like, you know, just my past or whatever. Like to me, it doesn't really like seem threatening for people to know. But at the same point, it's like people do use information about you against you. So it is like smarter maybe if you don't know somebody well, not to give them too much info. So
I learned that one time at church camp where I said something in the prayer and then they used it against me on the car ride back. And I was like, hey, that was in prayer.
That's hilarious. Like, you're like, I thought that was a safe space. Yeah, it's not a safe space. Yeah. So
yeah. Okay, continue on. Sorry. So you were.
So anyway, so we're,
so she's asking all these questions about Travis.
All these questions, and she's telling me way too much information, and I won't like give her information out because I'm not a dick. But like, it's like pretty deep and pretty, you know, it's a lot. So I'm just like, oh, okay, maybe she's just like really just opens up real fast, you know. And so she's just asking me all these questions about him and like the seriousness, and I'm like, oh yeah, we live together. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she starts admitting, like, one, like throughout her talking too much, she's saying things that go back to the thing we were saying earlier, where it's like, if you hear somebody throwing shade, you know, you're kind of like, oh wait, are you gonna do that to me? So it wasn't like really bad shade, but she's like talking about people that are like really kind of close to her in a way where she's like telling me, here's what's wrong with this person, here's like their flaw, I love them, but this is their problem, you know. And I'm like, that's always a big red flag. Yeah, I'm like, whoa, you know, this is your BFF and you're telling me what's wrong with them for some reason. Don't tell anybody, she says. And I'm like, well, you don't know me, and like, I won't tell anybody, and I haven't until now, and even now I'm not using the name, but I'm just like, this is a lot. Like, you're throwing people under the bus. Granted, it's like softly, you know, it's not anything super terrible that she's saying about them, but it's like, but still, it's also like just your first hangout. Yeah, it's our first hangout, like, and she's breaking people that are really close to her trust, essentially, by giving me this information. And then she says, also, don't tell him because he would totally kill me. He's one of my best friends, but blah, 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 has a huge crush on you. And I'm like, oh. And then she's like, we are actually talking before I came here. And I told him I was meeting up with you. And I'm like, oh my God, she's just here to get information for him about me. And like, if I'm single, oh, I'm not, how serious is it? All this stuff. Yeah. That's it. Like, she doesn't really want to be friends with me. And then I was just immediately turned off because of like, but actually I was immediately turned off because I was like, whoa, okay, that explains why you're asking so many questions. But then like, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's just like, you know, maybe she had a little too much wine and gave too much information. Maybe she does want to be my friend, but she also had that. But then after that, never heard from her again. Just, you know, she never texted me again to hang out. She never anything, even though after she was like, this was so fun, we should do it again, you know, that sort of thing. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I didn't really care about it. But then we cut to like a few weeks later, and she's, you know, I felt like I ended up booking her on my show again because I was like, well, we won't be friends, but like, you know, you're funny, I'll throw you on. And then she was just like talking mad shit about my friends, you know, at the mic and all this, and being like, what's their problem? What's their problem? This one says, see you next Tuesday. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, was she doing this like off the mic or like on the mic? Off the mic to me directly. And I'm just thinking like, this is my show and these people are my friends. What are you talking about? You know, like know your like dynamics before you start talking this much trash, you know, because that was a moment I was like, well, I'm not booking this person again because like their negativity and like clearly they had no interest in really being friends with me. They were like very phonily trying to get information. Maybe it was other information. Maybe it was that, but like, it seemed like it was all about that. And that seems like a lot. You could just ask me. I also wonder what her relationship is with this guy, that she's like, what she wants from him to be able to do this sort of bidding. Yeah. Right. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, cause I feel like if it's transactional with you, it's definitely transactional with him. Yeah. It's like, watch me pull this off and, you know, I get XYZ. Yeah, totally. Ugh. And then, yeah, it's so funny because it's like this person that was like, oh, you know, let's hang out, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, they never came to my show after that, other than like the one time I booked them. And then I was like, well, I'm not booking you again. Because every time you come here, you just talk mad shit about everybody. And it makes me really uncomfortable. When you explained her asking you all the questions about Travis, it kind of made me think of, have you ever seen Some Like It Hot? The movie from like the 1940s. No, but I've heard I know what it is, but yeah, I haven't seen it. There's this great scene where the main guy is pretending to be a rich guy, and Marilyn Monroe, like, she's like a gold digger, and so she's trying to find out if he's got a wife or not, and so she's like, who makes your dinner on the boat? And he's like, my butler, and she's like, well, who does your cleaning on the boat? And he's like, my butler. And she's like, well, who do you talk to on your boat? And he's like, my butler. I don't have
I'm not dating anyone if that's what you're asking.
That's what it's like. But it's like, it was all for this guy, it's all to find out. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think there's more to that story.
There's gotta be, I don't know what, but like, I was just waiting for some sort of like thing to ruin my life after that. Because I was like, well, clearly there was some like ulterior motive. And it seems like a lot of work to pretend to want to be my friend just to find out if I'm like serious with my boyfriend. You could have just asked me in a message. I would have been like, yeah, we live together. I love him very much. What else?
It's like, where does he work? It's like someone comes to his job and you're like, hello.
And they're like, all of a sudden he disappears. I'm like, shit. I shouldn't have given that information. Yeah. now I'm a lot more like, I just am weary because aside from that, like, because of like the negative energy that was brought was kind of like, to me, not something that I wanted to be around. And it's like the other person that I was gonna say that I dealt with, like, she like that I learned the hard way, like, and I talked about this one, I think it was episode 11 with don't mix money and friends, because like we are not friends anymore. And I actually like told her off, so you're better than me, because I have to tell people why they suck normally and really give it to them. Really give it to them.
It's like, I feel like I'll only tell them off when it's like I feel like something can be salvaged. Like the girl in the garage, I was like, well, we've actually, but then after I told her off, I still was like, no, I don't really.
Yeah.
No, the trust has been broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Because anytime I don't see 100, like, I'm already not going to trust you. It's not going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, this person, like, I think the reason I had to tell her off was because we had been friends for like, since we were like 14, and she was one of my best friends growing up. And she was somebody that like, I got along with really well, even though she was kind of a bitch, but it was like, I kind of like, was like, oh, she like says what she wants, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make her a bitch, And a lot of my other friends hated her, and they were always like, you got to stop hanging out with her. She's such a bitch. And I'm like, I was always defending her, and she never treated me like that. But when it all of a sudden, I started seeing her treat people close to me like that, or just act so phony, that I was like, why are you like she was like gross. It was like icky, like to the point where like we're at a music festival and I really want to go see this specific band, and like we're in her college town, so we're about to go in, and she's like, hold on, she has to stop and talk to somebody for 20 minutes, and I'm like, can we go? And she's like, first of all, she turns and she's like, whatever, Jesse, like nobody likes that band you want to see anyway, they suck. Like, first of all, making me feel like a stupid asshole because I want to see them, but then like she's like, I'm talking to my friend, being a bitch, and then finishes the conversation. And then the moment that girl walks away, she turns to me and her boyfriend and says, ugh, I hate her. And it's like, after the last thing she said to that girl was, oh yeah, let's definitely hang out soon. And then she turns to us, ugh, I fucking hate that girl. And it's like,
such a Regina George moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, I love your thing.
Yeah, I love your skirt.
Thing.
It's such the fuggliest skirt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was such a Regina, like that. And I was like, whoa, well then thanks for wasting my damn time and making me miss the band that sucks for your, person that you hate anyway. God. and like, I still was like stupid and, maintain friendships with her. But like I like broke up with her several times because she was acting shitty. And I was like, you need to learn how to talk to me and to people before I could be friends with you. And then she'd come back in. And then I finally had like a final straw where it was like, she asked me to, like, she hadn't really spoken to me in years. The past few times that I was around her, she was just a dickhead and very selfish. And then she like reaches out to me when I'm like going through a really rough time in my life. I wasn't living in New York anymore. And she just like messages me. She's like, I'm engaged. You want to go look at wedding dresses and drink champagne? And I'm like, in what universe are we close enough friends that I'm going wedding dress shopping with you? Also, I don't live in New York anymore. You would know that if you were a good friend, you asshole. And so I basically just like told her off, and I was like,
did you say that?
Yeah, I told her, I said, there's something wrong with you. If you think that I am a good enough friend of yours, I'm like, you are so selfish. You are so rude. You are like you are toxicity personified, essentially. Like, you're the worst, shittiest person I've ever met. And I don't want you to ever speak to me again.
Jess, I wish I could be like that smaller. I mean, like me, I'd just be like,
Oh my God.
But I wish I could like I tried to mediate with the girl from the Apple store. Like I tried to like get back to like a new normal. And then she lied about something else that was like really basic. Like she was drinking water and I said, "What are you drinking?" And she liked it's Pepsi or something like that. And I was like, "I'm done."
Oh my God. That's such like, that's weird as hell. Yeah, no, I mean, I think like the problem is like with this girl, like I really loved her a lot and I wanted our friendship to work, which is why we kept like becoming friends again. But I just got so pissed and so hurt, like the way that she would like swoop in and then like make me feel really shitty. Like I just never felt good whenever, whenever I just had an interaction with her. So to me, it was like go scorched earth and make it so she doesn't want to talk to you ever again. And so just like be a complete asshole to where she hates you now. It's like I hated her and I loved her, and it's like I missed a lot of things about her, and not anymore because it's been a long time. But like, of course, we had a ton of good times, and it was really tough to do that. But it was almost like an abusive boyfriend that would like come
No,
back, and you'd hope for the best, and I'm just like, I just can't with you anymore. So I need
and
you to hate me also.
yeah, and I think that's like a good learning the hard way, that it's like they that sometimes you have to be the one to push off in something that's toxic.
Yeah.
Because you know that they'll never do it.
Yeah. I don't think she was capable of understanding how shitty she was.
Like it's like when your story kind of like in like a small iota, it's like when I was growing up, I didn't really have like a backbone. Mm-hmm. Like, so I'd let people treat me, obviously from the stories that you've heard, I've let people treat me a little poopy.
I'm very similar. I've always let people treat me
like, and it's like I feel like the last few years, like right before, probably maybe like a year before I started doing stand-up, I was like, nope, never again.
Yeah.
And I like really have been like on that kind of kick. And like I just remember in high school there were so many times where like I think what happens is like, even though I didn't have like a backbone like growing up, what would happen was I would get to a threshold and I'd be like, nope, and then I'd leave. Yeah. Like it was like I was like a lackey for like this popular girl in high school for like maybe like 6 months or something like that. And she would say like she would talk back trash about everybody, and then she would talk back trash about me. Like she would put me down and stuff like that. And it got to a point where I was just like, you know what, I don't need this. I'm just gonna go hang out with like other kids. Like because like I also had that type of personality in high school where I had like many different people I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
several groups. There isn't just one. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I was always like, if stuff gets real, I need an exit plan.
Like, this is group A. This is group B. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I like left, and then she was like, oh, I miss you. Where have you been? And I was like, don't talk to me. Cause like, I feel like I've learned not to have that like that fool me once, it's on me, fool me twice, or what is that, that expression?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah, so I've always tried to be like, yeah, never. Sometimes it gets to shame on me, but it never third time.
Yeah. See, yeah, no, except for maybe with ex-boyfriends. Fool me 37 times and it's over. I swear this time, damn it. Like people be lying. Yeah. But like,
I really try to delete ex-boyfriends and delete their numbers. So it's like I can't even get in contact with them if I wanted to.
Oh yeah, no. Most of the time, when I'm out. I'm just like mostly referring to like my last relationship because that shit was just like 7 years on and off. That's who I married by mistake. Which not by mistake, obviously. Like things were in a good enough position for a long enough time that I was able to do that.
It happens to all of us. We all have that one where we're like, it shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but it's just because like you still want to believe it and you still want to trust them and you want to hope that people grow, but like you got to learn the hard way.
What's interesting is like I will cut off my exes, but I will still I'll still like think about them, like they'll still occupy headspace like with my friends. And I'll be like, yeah, blah blah blah, and they'll be like, did you talk to this person, like what's bringing this up? And I'll be like, no. And then they'll be like, cut that off.
Yeah, well, but if you're not talking to them, it's fine. It's one thing to like use it as like a piece of information to reflect back to use if it matches like a certain scenario in the present. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like me bringing up my ex right now is because like it's relevant to the situation of like
no for sure.
Versus,
I'm just saying I'm saying I'm like you were saying you come back to your ex. I was saying I do that, but like mentally.
Oh, well,
I do that. I know I need to stop it. And then I lament, and then I go, if I had just changed, then they would have changed.
Oh, so you think they're the ones that got away now?
Yeah, but then I see them later, like yeah, like there's one that is complete psycho. Like actually like it's been confirmed.
Oh boy. Who confirmed it? So you knew, but you were like, well, maybe it was my fault. Well,
but then after I was like, oh, it's been confirmed.
Oh. Now they're no longer occupying the headspace.
100%.
Yeah. Have you had any on this topic before we start wrapping up? Have you had any like experiences with people like since you've lived in New York and now you live in LA, like where you see people just like coming out of the woodwork that haven't talked to in years, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, because I got a funny one about that. Like as I know a lot of people would reach out to me through Facebook and stuff and be like, oh, you're living here, I'm coming there with this person, and I'm like, why would you tell me about it though? Because we haven't talked in a decade. It's like, no. Do you want a place to stay? Like, what is it? Like, I had the weirdest thing.
Especially because of stand-up, I've had a lot of people come up out of the woodwork. So I agree with you. Once I started doing that, then like I had ex-boyfriends that were like, I saw you with the microphone. And my heart just went boom, boom. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my God, my heart went boom, boom. That's so gross.
But just like a lot of different people that are just like, they see you with the microphone and then they're like, now you're hip now. Can I talk to you about all these other things? But yeah, so you met someone recently. Well, someone came out of the woodwork recently for you.
Oh no, it wasn't necessarily like woodwork because she's not asking me for anything, but I was so thrown off because it was like the way that I found out about it is like there's so many like I'm sure you have this too where you get like a lot of friend requests from like just random comedian dudes.
Yeah, holding mics.
Yeah, exactly. They're all holding mics. I don't know who the fuck they are. You're not my friend.
I feel, you know what? I have to give you your props, Jess. You were the first person I ever saw that said, I'm not Facebook friending you if I don't know you.
Yeah. Well,
and I thought that was like the badass thing. Cause like I kind of like, I do and then I don't. Like I'll go halfway. Like I'll look at your profile and if it seems like you're actually like one, not a bot. Yeah. And two, like a real person. And I feel like, oh, okay, there's some connection. But there'll be random comics from like the middle of like from wherever.
No, I've definitely like accepted some because I'm like, oh, I do know of you through these people, Yeah. But like most of the time, I don't because when I first moved here, I accepted a lot of people because I was like, oh, I was running a mic and I was doing it. I was like, sure, you'll be friends with me. But then it just got to be too many that I was like, I don't like this, So I stopped. So I've got like essentially like 100 plus just sitting there at any given time. So I rarely like it's hard for me to notice, and I'll scroll through sometimes to make sure that I'm not missing somebody that I actually do know and do want to like talk to. So I hadn't looked in a long time because I rarely ever see it. And especially because we get so many notifications on there, about whatever that isn't even for you. So I like end up getting a message from this lady that's like, I'm this person's mom. They're coming to visit you at work. And I was like, what? I was so confused by like the phrasing that I was like, and I kind of recognized the name at first, but because it was like a person that I hadn't heard of in like 20 years, I was like, what are you even talking about? And why is the mom doing it? I felt like I was getting set up, like, cause the mom's name didn't match the name of the person. And then I was like trying to find the person. I was like, but I'm not friends with her on Facebook. Why is the mom emailing me? And I'm like, where does she think I work? I was like, this must be the wrong person.
Did she come to a show or they come to a show?
No, well, apparently she was going to, but now probably not because like it's all the coronavirus happened.
Oh, okay.
But it was just so funny because like once I did realize who it was and I did look into my old friend requests, I saw that she had requested me like months before, and I was like, oops. And then I accepted her, and I was happy to hear from her and be like, oh, cool, she'll come like to my show if she comes to LA. That would be fun. I haven't seen her in 20 years, but it was just so funny because I've had so many other people just randomly come out of nowhere and try to visit me, that I was like so confused when the mom of somebody that didn't have the same name did it. I was like, what is happening? Am I getting like punked? Am I getting catfished? What's going on here? It was so strange. Yeah.
It is weird when someone like just pops up like that, where it's like, I've kind of had that happen where it's like, I've had that happen where people will pop up and it'll be like random people, like truly random people. Like I had I'm trying to think of a good one that I've had pop up recently. You know who I'm really worried is going to pop up?
Who?
Or maybe I shouldn't get into this because it'll be a longer story. But
you can.
Really quickly, there was a guy who saw me perform and he named his baby after me.
Oh, that guy.
And I'm really worried that one day his wife is just going to slide into my DMs.
Oh my God. Maybe she doesn't know.
Well, I don't think she knows. And like, I think one day I'm waiting for her to slide into my DMs and be like, why did my husband name
I was
the baby
just
after
telling,
me?
I think I was telling Travis that the other day. I was telling somebody about that joke where it was like, because like somehow we were on the topic of like baby names. Oh, that's right. Because I was talking to my friend and her friend named her baby like something so close to her name. And then when my friend was like, oh, cool name, the girl was like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was that close to your name. She's like, yeah, right. And so then I told her about you. I was like, oh my God, my friend Lexie was talking to this guy, and then he stopped talking to her, and next thing she knows, he had a baby and he named it after her. And she's like, stop. Yes. Lexie Grace, the baby.
Yeah, so I'm really worried that she's gonna like pop into my DMs one day and be
what
like,
if the baby shows up 18 years from now and is like, are you named after me? Are you my mommy?
I've always said that if the baby comes, I will, depending on how I feel. Supposedly, currently at this point in my life, I'm like, with wide open, I will sit down with baby Lexie and we can process this together. I don't know if I'll feel that way in like a couple of years. I might be like, get this child away from me.
Yeah, all right.
But currently, I feel like, yeah, if she came to me, she's a cute little baby.
She's a baby now. Oh my God.
And like, I keep tabs on her from time to time.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I am worried. Because like I posted that whole thing of me explaining it on Instagram, and at that time on Instagram, he was still following me. Like
he knows what he did.
He had unfollowed me, and then I made the mistake of liking the picture of baby Lexie, and then he refollowed me.
Oh God.
And so then I had posted the clip, so I thought he was like, this is like the part that like I got freaked out, because then he slid into my DMs and he sent me something, but it was a video he sent me, so I couldn't see what it was like without clicking it.
Oh.
So I had to call my mom into the room, and I taped it because my sister had a stalker. So what I know is that you have to like tape things because they might like disappear.
Yeah, no, because they do in the Instagram like videos, they will go away once you watch them. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, let me tape this because I don't know if it's something like I need to like send to the police or something.
Yeah.
And then I watched the thing, and he ended up just I clicked it, and I like held my mom there, and we were all like anticipating, and we clicked it, and it ended up being like a pyramid scheme where he was trying to get me to join.
Oh,
where it was like, if you send this to 5 people.
What is wrong with this person? Hey, sorry I named my baby after you. Can you join this pyramid scheme? Lexie, please block this man. You haven't already.
I know I haven't, because I need to see how little Lexie grows up. I need to keep a door open for her.
It's so true. Oh my God. Oh man, my dog is waltzing around, huffing and puffing, making me want to take him out. But oh my gosh, this is definitely keep me posted on any new baby Lexie
I
developments.
I will.
And any developments with any of these, just anything really. But
yeah, and please tell me if your girl that went wedding dressing shopping, if she ends up reaching back out and she's like,
she follows me on Facebook, which is a thing, I guess. And I noticed that, but I don't know if she knows that she's doing that.
She probably thinks that she friend requested you and then it left it as a follow.
Well, she didn't, because I unfriended her years ago, but it looks like, yeah.
Oh, because like when you unfriend them, they still have the follow.
Oh, okay. So then she doesn't mean to be following me. Because I found that really weird.
But they can only see like anything that you do publicly.
Well, because she made another friend not play Scrabble with me because of what I said to her. like a friend started a Scrabble game, and I was like, "Come on, nudge, your turn." And she's like, "I can't play with you because of how you treated what's her name." And I was like, "Okay."
Hilarious. You got kicked out of a Words with Friends.
Yep. Got kicked out of Words with Friends for telling her like it is, baby. Yeah.
That's like someone being like, I don't want to play Farmville with you. It's like, who else are you going to play Farmville with?
Yeah,
you know?
Right? I'm like, you started it. I don't give a shit. Get out of here, you weirdos. Right. Well, yeah, Lexie, call me, text me, FaceTime me.
We're hanging out.
When we get out of here, we're going somewhere. We're going to the lavender fields, damn it. Or we'll go to lunch. Maybe both.
And thank you for never letting me hang out in your garage.
Oh, yeah. No. You can come hang out at my apartment, meet my dog, like a normal friend. Oh, man. All right. This was awesome. Is there anything you want to promote before we go?
My YouTube channel, again, I'm going to be dropping this very ambitious 22-minute project.
I can't wait to hear
sometime later this week. So by April 13th, it should be out.
Cool.
And I guess I want to plug my Instagram. I always put positivity out on Wednesdays. And then if you have a TikTok, you can follow me there too. All the same handle at Smile Lexie, Lexie.
Awesome. And I'll link all this stuff in the show notes too. I'll link your YouTube page and everything. And I can't wait to see that very ambitious video.
Very
I'm sure
ambitious.
It's going to be great because I've watched your sketches of you just like, what was the one where trying to get money for your car payment?
Oh yeah, that the $500 ASMR video that I did.
Just some money for my car payment. Yeah.
Well, it's so funny is a lot of people didn't realize it was a joke.
Oh my god!
And they were like, "You should really renegotiate your payment. It's too high." Like
I saw that, like the comments, like because you're like, I need $500. Yeah, that was a high car payment.
And then there was all these people like, "Hey, you can call me. We'll renegotiate it together." Like it was really sweet, but it was very funny.
Yeah, she's a comedian. People, these are jokes. She probably just privately texts to borrow money if she needs it.
Exactly. Not a wide video. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.